Hey folks, in this video I am going to present to you another top tube bag, this time from none other than Ortlieb, the Fuel Pack. And I will compare it to the bags from Restrap and Brooks, which my last video was about, so if you are interested in either of those, whether bolts or straps are better for attaching a top tube bag, be sure to check out that video on my channel. As always, this video isn't sponsored in any way and these are my honest opinions, so let's get started. Now to the specifications. The fuel pack costs €6 and has a capacity of 1 liter, which is more than the ones from Restrap or Brooks. Its shape is similar to the one from Brooks but wider, but despite that I haven't noticed any problems with my leg clearance. The fuel pack is made from PVC-free 100% waterproof material and is only available in the color matte black. It weighs 160 grams, being heavier than the ones from Brooks or Restrap. It can hold up to 1 kilogram and, as are all Ortlieb products, is made in Germany. The fuel pack has one big compartment and a net on one side, which can come in quite handy. The compartment is actually a separate part which you can remove, which might be helpful for cleaning purposes. As you can see, the inner compartment has a plastic frame which gives the whole fuel pack its stiffness. As opposed to many other top tube bags, the fuel pack uses 2 magnets instead of a zipper. That makes it possible to open and close the bag reliably with only one hand by simply pulling the flap open and flicking it back in order to close it. Because it uses a flap, you are able to lay a cable through, which allows you to charge your devices on your handlebar if and when you have a power bank inside the pack. Compared to the bags from Restrap or Brooks, where you have to choose between using bolts or straps to mount their bags to your frame, the Ortlieb can do both by using an adapter system. That means you can use it on multiple bikes and it doesn't matter if your bike has mounting points or not. Because the adapter for attaching it with straps is the bottle cage mount, when mounting the bag with bolts, you can use it to mount a bottle holder. Whilst making this video, I have noticed that the bag from Brooks now also has the option for attaching it either with bolts or with straps. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you don't want to miss any further videos, be sure to subscribe. Be aware that you can do this with a compartment placed in the pack. When you attach it to a top tube with mounting points, you first have to lift up the grey mesh on the bottom of the compartment, which is attached with velcro. Under this mesh you will find 2 black plates which fit snugly into the bottom of the compartment. You then have to put your bolts through the hole in their center and then through the holes in the pack. You can screw the bolts into your mounting points on your top tube, and lastly, be sure to close the mesh again. Should your frame not have mounting options, you will need to use the adapter set. You start off by doing the same process as I have described when attaching the pack using bolts. You need to use the bolts that came with the adapter set and screw them into the adapters. You then lace the straps through the adapters and then tighten them around the top tube. Unlike when you attach the fuel pack with bolts, you can choose its position when attaching it with straps. Be sure after you have put the straps around the top tube to thread them through the slits on the other side of the adapters, otherwise there's a good chance of the straps becoming loose and the fuel pack falling off. Then tighten the straps and put the hook of the adapter into the hole of the strap. To protect your top tube from any scratches, the wider ends of the straps cover the mounts. Because the straps might be too long, you can lace them back through a plastic ring to prevent them from protruding. One thing to consider is that due to the thickness of the adapters, the pack will sit higher up and thus leave a gap between the pack and the top tube. Compared to the straps on the Brooks bag, the straps on the fuel pack are made of rubber, making the bat sit nearly as tight as when attaching it with bolts. I find that you can attach a top tube bag much easier and tighter with perforated straps. Firstly, because it is a lot more slip resistant, and secondly, because it is able to stretch. You can put it under preload, unlike the velcro straps. Additionally, the rubber perforated straps don't attract dirt, at which velcro is great, worsening its ability to stick. The only benefit that velcro straps might have is that they last longer, because the tension is distributed to the whole area where it overlaps, instead of the tension only being on a small part in between 2 holes, as is the case with perforated straps. But with such a small bag, I don't think it is a big deal anyway. Nevertheless, I still think the best option is using bolts, but if that isn't possible, I'd definitely go with the perforated straps. Because of its rectangular shape, any phone should be able to fit inside. To give you an idea of the capacity of the fuel pack, I put some things in. It fits a pair of cycling gloves, some hankies, a small multi-tool, a pair of sunglasses, a front and rear light, and a power bank with a cable. Firstly, the flap isn't as well designed as it could be in my opinion. When opening the bag, one has to constantly push the flap aside in order to see what's where, because the flap is designed in a way that it tries to close itself. But rather am I able to look inside than that the flap is a bit easier to close. Secondly, the plastic frame of the inner compartment is surrounded by this grey mesh. The first problem I see with that is that when it gets wet, which it will, even if it's just because of the humidity, it will take a while until it dries, and having a wet bag isn't much fun, especially when having one's phone, power bank or other electrical devices in there. The second reason why I don't like the mesh is because it is incredibly thin, and I can imagine that it doesn't hold up for very long. To make it even worse, as far as I have been able to make out, the inner compartment isn't available separately. The third reason why I dislike the mesh is that the part which is attached to the velcro on one side, which one has to lift up in order to get access to the screws, doesn't have a counterpart, which leads to the grey mesh getting damaged very quickly, and its size is very narrow too, making it possible for smaller items to get underneath, making it annoying to fiddle out. Thirdly, because the fuel pack does not have the option to be additionally fastened to the stem, it moves more from side to side, particularly when the pack is heavy laden. I'd say that it wobbles less than the Brooks bag, but more than the bag from Restrap when attaching it with my trick. What some might consider a disadvantage is that the fuel pack is rather thick, standing out from both sides of the top tube. When cycling standing up, that might cause your legs to touch it, which is rather uncomfortable and can cause rashes. The bag from Restrap would then be a better option because it's thinner. The fuel pack is bigger and has definitely the best solution when your bike lacks mounting points. I will stick with the bag from Restrap for now, especially because I managed to attach it so as to be able to use it with only one hand as well. It is incredibly secure and I am fine with 0.8 liters since I also have a frame bag, but when a bag with an even better system comes around, I might consider purchasing it. As I said at the beginning, the fuel pack is great for everyone who only wants to buy one bag which can be mounted to any type of top tube and which is a bit bigger. Firstly, design the flap so that when opening it, it falls to the side, opening up the whole compartment so one is able to see inside. I just don't understand why they had to design it in such a weird way. Whilst bags with zippers tend to be able to stay open, it isn't perfect, and a bag with a flap that is well designed would be, at least for me, the best solution. Secondly, having a more robust inner compartment which can be bought separately. Thirdly, I would appreciate the option to be able to attach the bag to the stem in order to make it steadier, either with a strap or an elastic band as does the Restrap bag. And fourthly, what I also find a good idea for top tube bags in general and the fuel pack specifically, because it already has an inner compartment, is the possibility to remove the inner compartment readily so that one doesn't have to take out the contents separately. That is not possible with the fuel pack because one has to dismantle it. My idea would be to fasten the inner compartment to the outer shell with magnets, because taking the inner compartment out, for example for taking it into one's tent or a shop, would be great, especially because one most often has important and valuable items in there. What is your opinion? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you found this video helpful. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and if you are interested in bicycle gear and bikes in general, consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching, enjoy your day with a nice ride, and see you soon. Bye!